name is Wafa Liyana binti Muhammad ZAINOL. So in this video, I'm going to talk about interaction between species and mode of competition. Here is the definition of competition. Competition is an interaction between organisms or species in which one is harmed while the others seek to use the same resources for growth, reproduction, and survival. Here are the example of resources which are food, habitat, and mating partner. So first, I'm going to talk about interaction between species. There are three interactions between species which are positive, negative, and neutral. Positive interaction will benefit for the both party. Negative interaction will detrimental to both party, and neutral interaction will only give benefit to the one party. This is example of interaction. First is competition. Competition is an example of negative interaction because in this picture you can see that two dogs are fighting over a carcass, and this will detrimental to both parties. Next is mutualism. Mutualism is an example of positive interaction. The image above shows that the mutualistic relationship between bees and flowers. The bees benefit from the pollen and nectar they gather from the flowers, and the flowers benefit by the bees transporting their pollen and pollinating other flowers. While for the parasitism, which is mosquito that feed blood from the other organism. In this type of relation, parasitic need hosts to stay alive, but they will not give damage greatly to another organism. Now, I will explain about the mode of competition. There are three modes of competition, which are interference competition, intraspecific competition, and interspecific competition. First is interference competition, or also known as direct competition. Interference competition occurs directly between individual species through aggression. This means that they use physical to prevent other species get access to the resources in the habitat. For example, when other species try to interfere their habitat, such as for hunting, survival, or reproduction, they will directly prevent the other species using physical so they can protect their habitat. Now we can look at those images. First, there are two kangaroos are competing with each other using directly competition. Second is where we can clearly see that space acts as a limited resources supply in this image, and the goldfish are trying to stay in that aquarium, so they fight for their own space. Second is intraspecific competition. Intraspecific competitions mean that the same species are competing for the same limited resources for better adaptation, such as for food, mating partner, or habitat. This type of competition is the most common factor that happen in the natural selection. For example, you can look here where two kangaroos are fight for their own mate. Maybe they fight for mate at the same habitat. Here is also example of intraspecific competition where two crawfish fight with each other. If they fight for mate, this male species who has large in size will have more advantage because they are more competitive due to male-male competition, and the female crayfish also will prefer them. Those competition that you see before shows that population actually are controlled by the limiting factors. But when they reach the limit where resources are not enough for everybody, this situation will lead to the interspecific competition to happen. The third mode of competition is interspecific competition. Interspecific competition is a competition between two different species for the same limited resources. This situation happens when two different species rely upon the same limited resources. This competition will limit the growth and survival of at least one species. For example, leopard and lion are rely upon the same prey and are negatively affected by the presence of other species and will cost less for one species. However, interspecific competition is usually less intense than intraspecific competition. This is due to the fact that different species have different reproductive and growth requirements. But for intraspecific competition, the same species will compete for the same resources. Now, we already reached at the end of this video. So we know that in this topic, there are three types of interaction between species, which are positive, negative, and neutral. For modes of competition, they have three types, which are interference competition, intraspecific competition, and interspecific competition. Now, I will give you one tip about how to differentiate between intraspecific and interspecific. Intra means inside, so intraspecific competition will occur only inside the same species. While for interspecific competition, I use term international. Internationals mean that you have different country, and different country means that you have different species. So, interspecific competition occur with the different species. I hope that this video can help you to have a better understanding in the topic of interaction between species and mode of competition. Thank you so much for watching.